What we have in front of us today is a main board for a Acer laptop, and the model number is the Acer Swift SF315-41 series. This laptop came in because it was having problems with the HDMI signal. So what the customer reported was, whenever they would connect a HDMI cable, sometimes it would give a signal, sometimes it wouldn't. The signal was intermittent, so to speak. So I'm going to show you today how to test and find out where the problem is and how to repair it. So if we turn the board over and if we have a look here, the board revision or the board number is BK5EAMB revision 2. So just bear that in mind so you know the work that we're doing today, what board it refers to. Now what you're going to have to do is, once you've got the board out the laptop, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to remove this cover here so we can get access to the connections of the HDMI port, which are located around here. So I'll quickly do that now. It's quite easy. It just clips off on this model. It's not soldered on, just in case you might think it's soldered on. Right, so it comes off, and the area that we're interested in is this area here. So we're going to go under the microscope now, and we're going to take a detailed, closer look at this area here and try and find out where our problem is. So let's do that now. Okay, so the first thing I did was inspect the pins inside the HDMI socket, and I can confirm everything looked fine over there, and there wasn't anything unusual. The second thing I did was I came to the back of the HDMI socket, and as you can see here are all the pins. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is get a sharp tool and check all of these pins one by one to make sure there's not any movement in here, as any loose pins here would cause an intermittent signal. So I've checked all of these anyway, and I'm going to show you now what was the next thing that I went on to checking. So now if you move this a bit further up and you come to this section here, you can see 4 components. Okay, these components are called EMI filters or chokes, right? And without making it too complicated, all you need to do is get your multimeter and put your multimeter in continuity mode, okay? And you put your red here, put your black here. Anyway around, it doesn't really matter. And what you want is, you want a continuity signal between here and here. You want another continuity signal between here and here, okay? And it's got to be the same on all 4 filters, right? So what you do is you check this point and this point, you check this point and this point, and then what you do is you put one of your leads here and you put one of your leads here. You should not have a continuity signal between here and here. There should be no continuity, right? You do the same again here. You put one of your meter leads here and another meter lead here, and you should not have any cross continuity signal. So the signal should be straight, no cross, no cross. Straight, no cross, no cross. Straight, no cross, no cross. And lastly, straight, no cross signal, no cross signal. What happened to me was, when I was doing the testing on these EMI filters, what I found was that this one was fine, this one was fine, this one was fine. When I got here, I had a cross between this and this and this and this. So I had continuity between this point here and this point here and this point here and this point here. Now that could be two things. It could either be that the filter's damaged, okay, or it could be that the cross is inside the chip. So the chip has shorted out and the 2 lines have crossed inside the chip. Okay, so how can we test that? So what I did was I went over to the HDMI ReTimer IC, which is located here. It's been removed now, but I'm going to put it back on just to show you what it looks like. Yeah, this is the HDMI ReTimer IC, okay, and the model number of this one is DP159. Okay, I removed this chip. I'm not going to show you how to remove it here because I've done many other videos for that. You can look through some of the previous videos and you'll find how to apply solder paste, heat it up and remove it. But what I essentially did was I removed this chip, okay, and once you remove it, this is what it looks like underneath. And then I came back to the EMI filters or chokes and I tested it again. So I've removed the chip and I tested it from this point to this point and there was no continuity. I tested it from this point to this point and there was no continuity. So that means that the HDMI ReTimer IC was shorted out internally and the cross was happening internally. The two wires were touching internally. It wasn't on the EMI filter. Now, if you remove the chip and you came back here and you still had the cross between here and here, that would indicate that the EMI filter is faulty, and the first thing I would do is replace that, right? So that's basically all it was, and I've seen this situation, similar situation on a PS4 as well, where basically you find the cross on the EMI filter and then you remove the HDMI timer and then the retimer, and then what you find is that the cross is no longer there, and that indicates that the chip was faulty. Right, so let's get back to this chip and see what we can replace it with, because I wasn't able to find the exact same chip, but I found something very similar. And what I'm going to do is I've already ordered it in and it's been delivered, and what we're going to do today is we're going to install it and hopefully it's going to work. So we'll have a look at the test at the end, but let's move over to the chip for now. Right, so I've got the chip here, and as you can see, it clearly states DP159. There's TI and there's G4. Okay, this chip here is a QFN40 package. What that means, it's 5mm by 5mm, and if you have a look underneath here, there is a ground point in the center which is 3.5mm by 3.5mm. So when you're looking for a replacement, you want the QFN40 package size, and you want to try and match up the number of the IC. Okay, so I'm going to tell you now how I located this chip and what I did. So let's move over to the PC for a second. Right, so what you want to do is you want to open, I mean you can search on Google as well, but I just took a quick shortcut and came to eBay. So what you want to do is you want to type in HDMI ReTimer, like we've done here at the top in the search box, and you're going to get a whole list of these retimers that are going to come up. Now, I could not find DP159 on its own, but the closest match that I could find is 75 DP159, which I believe the TI and the G4 is there. These are just probably internal factory numbers. So I went into this chip here, and what I found was that this chip is used on Xbox Slim, so it's quite common, and it's a part that fails quite often. So what I'm going to do is now, before we go any further, I just want to mention that I've checked on AliExpress and you can get these for about £5 or £6 from AliExpress, but obviously you'll have to wait about 15 days for it to arrive, and this one needs to get back out to the customer. So I didn't have the time to order that. I just ordered this one here. If we click into it, and I think I've already got a page open with that. Yep. So if you click into it here, you can see that the details are here, and if you have a look here, it says SN75 DP159 HDMI ReTimer IC control chip, and it's QFN40, which is what we're looking for. So I've ordered this and it's been delivered, and we're going to install it now into the board, and hopefully it fixes our problem. So let's do that now, and we'll test everything at the end. Okay, so let's remove this old ReTimer IC from here, and let's install our new IC, which is here, and you can see it's the right size. Pin 1 goes here, and it's denoted by this spot here on the chip, and as you can see there's a 1 there written on the board. So let's move this over. Actually, let's put some flux on the pads first before we stick that back on. And today I'm going to be using some Topnic AG5 flux, and the reason why I like to use this sometimes over the other flux which I use, which is the what is it, the Amtech one, is this one is it doesn't create as much mess on the board when you've got a little bit of work to do. It's not always suitable to use this, but in this circumstance it's fine, it's not a problem, and it's much easier to clean, it doesn't leave a lot of residue. So we're going to be using that today, and we're going to heat this up and apply this chip. I'm going to set the temperature to 400 because it's quite a thick board, and it's going to absorb a lot of the heat on the heat gun. And we're going to set the air to 50, or the wind speed to 50. So let's get the board heated up, and then we'll apply the chip. And that should be fine. Right, what we'll do is, while we're here, we'll go back to the EMI filters or the chokes, and we'll quickly test if we have any continuity between the on the X pattern. So what we'll do is we test from here to here, that's fine. We test from here to here, that's fine. We test from here to here, there's no continuity, and we test from here to here, there's no continuity. So that looks fine. We'll put it all back together now, and we'll test it to see if it worked. And if it does work, then you know that you can replace the DP159 with the 75 DP159, as it's more or less the same chip. So let's find out if our work has been successful or not. Okay, so we've got the back of the laptop open here, and we're going to fit the board back into the laptop, and we'll take it from there. So that's all been put back together now. All the cables have been connected, and all we're going to do is put the back cover on, pop it over and switch it on, and see if it worked. Okay, so we've managed to put everything back together. We've switched the laptop on, and what we're going to do now is we're going to connect a HDMI plug, and we're going to see if we get an image on our monitor. So let's do that now. So here goes. Now it's set to duplicate the displays, and as you can see, the picture is displaying perfectly. So what did we learn from this video? We learned that if you need to replace a HDMI ReTimer on one of these laptops, then you can use the one for the Xbox, which I showed the details of earlier in the video. So with that, we're going to wrap it up for today, and as usual, bye for now and have a nice day.